Shikha ma'am, you can start the session, please.
Okay. I'm audible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, my video is not visible.
Ma'am, it's visible to us.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of organizing committee, myself, Shikha Vora, I welcome all the participants for the third session, day 4 of Faculty Development Program on the topic Art and Science of Effective Teaching, Strategies and Method. The topic for the session is money management. When money realizes that it is in good hands, it wants to stay and multiply in those hands. The more your money works for you, the less you have to work for money. So participants, in order to learn how to manage funds in better manner, I invite our resource person for the session, Madam Monica Sachdeva. She comes from the background of Bachelor of Law, Master of Financial Administration, Postgraduate Diploma in Insurance. Madam is certified in NISM modules. She has 14 years of corporate experience in global capital market, National Stock Exchange of India Limited. She is also faculty member for various programs at NSC Academy Limited. Ma'am has also conducted multiple sessions of specially designed financial education program for defense personnel, banking correspondent. I request ma'am to enlighten us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shikha-ji, for your kind, introduction. And I'm really honored and privileged to be able to speak to the faculty members of your esteemed college. And it gives me an immense pleasure to be talking about this very, very pertinent topic of money management. This topic, first of all, I would want to take a little bit of a confirmation. Is Hindi and English both comfortable to everyone, or you want me to stick to only English?
Ma'am, English, ma'am.
Only English.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Shikha, ma'am, you are on mute. I guess you were saying something.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, participants are more comfortable with English.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So, yes, so this topic of money management, it pertains to each and every individual, right from, as early as our, senior school days until the very advanced age personals. This topic of money management interests everyone, it pertains to everyone. It should be, talked about, spoken about very frequently amongst ourselves. But ironically, it has been seen that howsoever the important this topic is, it is somehow neglected in our day-to-day, conversations. We, become little secretive about money, about what I'm doing with my money and how I manage my personal finances. We are a little bit secretive about it, and maybe we do not want to talk about it in open. But in today's scenario, it is very, very pertinent that the seeds for thinking about money should be sown at a very, very early age. Interestingly, CBSE has now tied up with National Stock Exchange, NSC Academy Limited, and financial management courses, money management courses have been introduced for the students from as early as class 8th onwards, grade 8 onwards. We are doing this. You all are educationists over here, so you are more, aware about all these new developments which are happening in this field. But yes, CBSE has done this very commendable job of tying up with the CBSE affiliated schools, and money management topic, financial management topic has been introduced from class 8 onwards. So yes, we can see that the tempo has been growing on, and it's very interestingly, when we talk to young students, it is very interesting to know about their viewpoint, as in how the young minds think about money. So let's broach up with this topic today. I'm seeing that we have a healthy list of around 51 participants here today, and majority of us are females over here. Majority, as I'm seeing from the names, probably So we have a good female participation over here. So I would encourage all my female participants to be really interactive during the session today, because somehow as female professionals, we are comfortable, working in our own zones. But when we talk about money management, planning my house's finances, I will very conveniently want to shrug off this responsibility, or should I say, I very conveniently shift over this responsibility to the male counterpart of the family. If we agree on this, please give me a thumbs up. That is it so with you all also? Even if we are equally earning members of our family, when it comes to taking financial decisions, we voluntarily take a step back. We want somebody else to do it for me. Maybe it is my father, maybe it is my husband or my brother or anyone, we just very conveniently let them take the decision. So I would, request all the female participants here today that going forward, maybe after today's session, you could be an active member in planning your own family's finances. As the money topic today is money management. So the money management for the entire family should be done with the inclusive participation of all the working members of the family. And yes, I do not say that we'll just, revolutionize it on one fine day and then we say that no, I am the one who's going to take the first step. It's not like that. It's a gradual step, but let's remove this hesitation which is there in us when we plan our family's finances. So today I would be talking to you about the topics which are, kind of involved or required for our day-to-day working, day-to-day making our, family's budget, or planning out for expenses, or chalking down or listing down the instruments in which we can invest, and what is the importance of investing, where can I get a better return, or which is a risky, investment avenue. All such things I would be discussing with you today, and I would be giving you all the possible, asset classes where you can put in your money according to the risk appetite that you have, and then maybe you would be more capable enough to decide for your own self. Maybe the decision which someone else today is taking for you, maybe you'll have a little more power in your hand to decide it for yourself. So accordingly, I've made the agenda for today. You can see we'll be talking about expenses and budgeting, what kind of expenses we have, what kind of a household budget we create, whether we have a surplus budget or whether we have a deficit budget of our household. I'm talking about personal financial management. Why is saving required altogether? Then how the different pillars of economy, they help us in our personal financial management. We'll be talking about basic banking and digital payment methods, which are very, very applicable and pertinent today, especially after this post pandemic era, wherein we want to maintain physical distances and yet do all our day-to-day banking functions. So what are those basic digital banking concepts which are prevalent, very, very prevalent these days? I'll be talking to you about insurance, the importance of insurance and various insurance products, investments that you can do in the securities market. Also, I would talk to you about the various pension plans, options that are there in front of you. And last but not the least, we would want to also discuss how to protect ourselves from the various frauds and scams this digital world has posed on to us. So these are the topics I've kept for discussion today. And after we are done with this PPT, then we'll be open for discussion when we can have question and answer session also from the participants. That would be, most welcome. So let's begin with a little, thought-provoking, thought-stimulating exercise, friends, getting to know how my financial health is right now. What do we do with our income? Let's do some thinking. We'll do some simple maths to understand that where my financial health lies. So if I ask this question to you, that what do you do with your income? These are the three things that can, we can say that we do these things with our income. Do we save, do we spend, or do we invest? Do you agree with me on these three? I would want all of you to please keep using your chat boxes. The chat box is there with me. Everything you write there, I'll be responding to that. Any question I ask, you can answer on the chat box. So I ask to all my esteemed participants what do we do with our income? The three things that I have written there: saving, spending, and investing. Are we doing all these three, and anything else if you are doing with your income? Please tell me in the chat box. Okay, I get it from Dr. Naganathan that all three. Shikha is also saying all three. Great, great. And I would request all of you to please write. If in case you are doing only two, or you are doing only one, or you're not doing anything, or you're doing more than these three, I request all 50 to please keep participating. Okay, so I get a couple of more answers from participants, and everybody is agreeing that yes, we are doing all these three. We are saving also, we are spending also, and we are investing also. Okay, great. Yes, we do all these three. But let's understand in what ratio we are doing all these three. I'm sure each one of us must be having a different proportion assigned to all these three things that we have written here. So to understand that whether I'm doing it in the right way, or whether I'm in the right direction, let's do some simple maths. And I've named it why save and how much. We've agreed all. Uh, uh, just give me a second. There is some problem. Yes. We've agreed that yes, we all save, spend, and invest. Now, how much and why should we save? For that, this little calculation I've done here, we can just go through this slide. I assume here that the average working life of an individual is around 30 years. That's an assumption. Thinking that probably we can calculate it by doing this subtraction, which is retirement age minus the career start age. That gives me my working life of an individual. Now, agreeing that maybe we start earning somewhere in our mid-20s, when we are done with our college education, with our degrees, diplomas, anything that we wanted to do. So we start earning somewhere around our mid-20s. So for calculation sakes, maybe 25 years is when I start getting, start earning money. And in the initial few years, I splurge on myself. I'm not that well, informed that okay, what should I do with my money? So what I do is, let me take the full life's pleasures. Let me just go through whatever I want from my life, from my after all these hard years of studying. Let me enjoy also myself. So typically 4-5 years I spend in enjoying my life. Now the wake up call, suddenly I become more accustomed. I'm more used to, I'm more gelled into my organization, and now probably I am married and I have a family also, maybe by the age of 30. And this is when I feel that now the financial planning for me should start, because now I have got responsibilities on my shoulder. So assuming that age is 30, 30 is the age when the wake up call for financial planning starts, typically for an individual. Maybe your family pressure is there, maybe you are reading it everywhere, it is on the media, you are on the social media as well. So from everywhere you gain sufficient knowledge, and you feel yes, now is the time to start. So practically the life expectancy of an average Indian is about 70 years. If you Google it across, it will come around 72 to 75 years. I've taken it as 70 years. That makes it easy to calculate. And women tend to live a few extra years. So the average lifespan of a woman is maybe 4 or 5 years more than a male. So that is why I started my discussion with the focus on females, was that we have to be even more interested, we have to be even more focused for the financial planning, because as biology says, we are destined to live little longer than the male counterparts. So women tend to have a few extra years. Pardon me, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Just give me a second, ma'am. Yes, now I think it should be. Yes. So yes. So we were on this point that yes, women tend to live a few years extra than the males. Now the working life, as we said, is the retirement age minus the career start age. So we take it 58 as the retirement age. So 58 minus 30 gives me 28. So roughly my working life is around 28 years. This is that life when I actually accumulate money, invest money, or save money. So that I'm considering as the working life. Now, post-retirement life, which is after 58 years, and say with the increased medical facilities, increased disposable income, increased consciousness about health and all, we tend to live till 80 years. That's a rough estimation I've taken. So 80 minus 58 gives me 22 years, which is my post-retirement life. So this is roughly, this 28 and 22 is roughly about 50%, if I can say, a little bit here and there where will go. So 28 is to 22. So roughly I can say it comes around 50 is to 50. So this gives me an assumption, this gives me a realization that for the half amount that I'm earning in my working years, I have to save for my post-retirement life. Whatever I'm earning today, part of it, a major part of it has to be saved, because roughly the average life which I'm spending while earning the similar number of years, I will have to depend on this income after retirement. So to save for retirement life, potentially, what do you feel? What percentage of your monthly earning should be going for savings? What do you feel? I've given you three options there: 10%, 15%, 50%. What do you feel? When the ratio of dependency on your working years is roughly 50 is to 50, as in half the your life, half of your life you have to depend on what you had saved during the half working years of your life. What do you feel should be the potential percentage of your monthly earnings that should be saved? 10%, 15%, 50%? Please answer me in the chat box. The second last point, kindly answer me in the chat box. Okay, so I get an answer from Shikha ji. Rest, I would request everyone else also. We are a lot of us over here. So requesting all to please answer me. Otherwise, yes, Dr. Naganathan is telling me 50%. Okay. What about others? We can have a fair enough discussion only when there are, majority of people who are participating. Okay, I got a different answer. Kamini Gupta ji is saying 15%. Okay. Dr. Saurabh Sood is saying 50. Okay, then Dr. K. Gunasil Prabhu is also saying 50. Pooja ji is saying 15%. Okay, so two different answers, and majority of you have said 50%. Majority of you have said 50%, and I'm sure why the answer was 50% was because the ratio that we calculated was 50 is to 50, as in for half of my life, I have to save in the first half of my life when I'm working. So probably that is why 50% was your answer. So my question to Pooja ji or Jasmeet ji who are writing 15%, ma'am, please can we have a little liner, one or two lines why 15% seems okay to you? Can I just have your point of view also, please? If you can just put in a line or a word there. 15% I got only from 2 or 3 participants. So if anybody could just write it. Otherwise, the majority understands or majority goes with this concept that because it's a rough ratio of 50 is to 50%, the potential savings should be 50% of what I am planning for today. Dr. R. Naganathan is saying maybe their partners also planning for. So when we are talking about personal financial management, definitely the partner's contribution is also taken here. So here, all the figures that I'm quoting over here, they are the family's income. So if two partners are working, we'll club their income and then only a family's financial planning can be done. So all the, calculations or workings in my entire presentation would be taking into consideration the entire family's disposable income. So when we talk about two partners, accordingly, we will be planning for 2 people then, and the number of dependents also. So that is why 50% is the right answer, that we have to save ideally we should be saving 50% of what we are earning today. Am I clear to everyone why this point? Why this point? Yes, Pooja ji, you are writing earlier, you have more responsibilities. That's agreed, ma'am. That's fairly agreed. And that is why I'm saying this is ideal percentage. This is the ideal percentage. 50 is ideal percentage. But definitely, if you have responsibilities, you will have to manage, and you would agree that responsibilities is one thing which is with everyone. Nobody is responsibility free, in the entire world. So yes, maybe if not 50%, 35% to 50% should be the minimum that you are saving for your post-retired life, for completing all kind of financial goals and then leading a comfortable retired life. So 15% is very, very on the lower side, and we would be barely meeting our financial requirements when we retire. So 50% is ideal, but yes, it's, if there are more responsibilities, anything between 35 and 50 should work. Now, the next question is, when should you start planning for retirement? Is it at the age of 50 years, at the age of 35 years, or is it as soon as we start our first job? What do you feel? Out of these three, 50 or 35, or as soon as we start our first job? What do you feel? I mean, the discussion that we did for last 5-7 minutes, what do you feel? When should we start planning for our retirement? At the age of 50 years, and at the age of 35 years, or first job? Okay, great. Kamini ji, Shikha, you are saying from the first job. Okay, so Dr. R. Nanganathan is saying at 50s we should plan for retirement. So Dr. Nanganathan, I would want to know your point of view also. Why at 50s? And let me explain. You can put your word. I'll just read across when I get your explanation. But yes, as soon as we start our first job, the financial planning part should be there in our minds then and there itself. And why is it? The next few slides are going to tell you. We have this very popular term called power of compounding, and that is why I will explain you how you will be able to take care of all your goals and all your post retirement needs. If you start at 50s, what you're going to lose, and if you start right from the first job, what you are going to gain. That's what we are going to learn in the coming few slides. So the savings formula which we normally use is that once I get my salary on the, say, 30th of every month, I plan all my expenses, and whatever is remaining, we do our savings from that amount. This is the formula that has been going around in the financial circles, in the personal financial management domain for years and decades. That we get our salary, we do all the expenses, and whatever is remaining is my savings. And out of that saving means something which is left in my savings bank account. It is not investment. Trust me, savings and investment is two different things. Once I save my money and let it be there in my my bank account, it will simply remain as savings. But if I invest it somewhere in some asset classes, in some investment avenues which give me a return better than what I get in my savings bank account, that is called as investment. So salary minus all expenses is savings, and then you do your investments from these savings. But this formula, maybe it was good a couple of decades ago, till couple of decades ago. In today's date, this savings, this formula does not work altogether, because inflation is increasing year on year, the expenses are increasing, lifestyles are changing. Some things which were luxuries till couple of years ago, they have become necessities. So because of increasing requirements, this formula also needs to change. So first of all, let's categorize our expenses into, we'll differentiate them into essential and non-essential expenses. And technically, we'll be calling them needs and wants. So need is something which we require to sustain our life, like food, shelter, or transport, or maybe medical, medicines, education, health. All these are the basic requirements of our life. And wants is something which is, luxury, like a holiday or expensive gift or buying jewelry or changing my car. Those are some things that I desire, that I want from my life, but my life can go without them also. So needs and wants are two types of expenses that we do. So the correct savings formula, which will help you achieve your all future financial goals, will be from the savings. You first do all your necessary expenditures, which is needs. Then you go ahead and do your investments, and the investments are pre-planned. You have already thought about these things. You know what it's requesting everyone to please be on mute. So from the salary you deduct, you do all your basic expenses, then you go ahead and do your investments, which you have pre-calculated according to your financial goals, according to your financial requirements. And then whatever is left in your bank account, you can go and splurge on your wants, that is, going for a holiday or maybe buying something expensive. This would become the most pertinent savings formula for today. So do you agree with me on this or not? Is this formula clear to everyone? Please give me a yes or a no in a chat box. Is the bottommost line, the newest formula, is it okay with everyone? Do we agree on this? Please write me a yes or a no in the chat box, and then we are good to go ahead. Please tell me, are we okay with this? Okay, fair enough. So I get 2-3 yeses that we agree that this is the right formula on which we should work. Okay, so now going forward, we'll see what happens if we agree with this formula and what if we do not follow this formula. So inflation, you all know that it is a day-to-day increase in the prices of products that is happening. Something which was available at 100 rupees to me last year is not available on the same price today. Probably it costs 106 or 107 rupees. So the impact of inflation is to be observed. Now here what I've given in front of you is a comparative chart in between consumer price index and the interest rates. Now interest rate is something that you are getting on your investment. You invested 1 lakh rupee and you got 8.75% in 2012. Suppose if I'm talking about 2012, see that column, it says that interest rate of 8.75% was applicable. So 1 lakh rupees or 100 rupees I invested, I got back 108 rupees 75 paisa. But the consumer price index in that year was 9.37%. What do we understand by this consumer price index? It is the the increase, the percentage by which the prices of essential things that we consume on a daily basis, like food or milk or medicines, clothing, transport, furniture, all these things that we use on a daily basis, that's called consumer price index. So the percentage increase in the consumable items, the percentage increase was 9.37%. That means anything that was available a year back at 100 in 2011 at 100 rupees costed 109 rupees 37 paisa in 2012. Whereas if I had put in 100 rupees in my bank account and it gave me 108.75 rupees only. So what do you feel? Did the return that I got on putting my money in a bank FD, which gave me 8.75%, in comparison to the percentage with which the prices of consumables was increasing, 9.37%, was it an intelligent decision? Please tell me. Was it an intelligent decision? Something that costed 100 rupees in 2011, in 2012, it costed me 109 rupees 37 paisa. Whereas if I had saved 100 rupees in a bank FD, it gave me 108 rupees 75 paisa. So was it good enough for me to have put that money in that FD for 1 year? Please tell me, was it a right decision or a wrong decision? Was it a right decision or a wrong decision? Please give me, write in the chat box, right or wrong. Please tell me. Please tell me. Then it will be interesting to go ahead. What do you feel? Was it good enough? Okay. So Dr. Okay, Kamini ji, you are saying right. Okay, ma'am. If I can just say one-on-one to you. मैम कोई चीज थी जो 100 रुपए की 2011 में मिलती थी, अभी 109 रुपए 37 पैसे की मिल रही थी, लेकिन पैसा तो मेरा 100 रुपए से 108 रुपए का ही हुआ. कीमत बढ़ गई 100 रुपए से 109, लेकिन पैसा जो मेरा बैंक एफडी में बढ़ा था वो तो 100 का 108 ही हुआ। तो क्या मैंने सही किया वो पैसा अपने एफडी में डाल करके? आपको लगा कि ये ठीक है शिखा जी, यू आर सेइंग इट इज अ नो, एंड एक्चुअली इट इज अ नो. Why will I invest my money in something which is giving me lesser return than the inflation rate? I should always be investing in something which gives me a return at least which beats this inflation rate. Inflation means महंगाई की दर. In Hindi we call it महंगाई की दर. In English it is the percentage with which the prices of consumable items, or price, if I'm talking about CPI, the prices of consumable items, they increase year on year. So if the prices are increasing by 9% and the return I'm getting is only 8%, it is not an intelligent investment decision. I should not be putting my money. In fact, my money is going on a regressive mode. It is on a negative growth. So one must understand that whatever percentage is your passbook, it is the nominal rate of interest. Whereas your real rate of interest you will get to know only if you subtract inflation rate. So if 9.37%, if 8.75% is my interest if I get on something, and 6% is the inflation rate, effectively I get only 2.75%. So this is one thing to be kept in mind when we are doing calculations. So these are for the year 2012 and 2013, they have been the interest rates have been highlighted in yellow because they are actually giving me a negative growth. From 2014 onwards, you can see there was a little positive growth. But yes, these are the key investment decisions. Even if you're making a FD or going into a post office scheme, these principles should always flow in your mind. Shikha, you're saying, ma'am, but passive investors usually go with bank investments. Yes, ma'am, they definitely go. And there are different, people with different mindsets. I do not say it's bad to go with bank investments, but then we should understand that, many times passive investors don't know that what are they losing with investing in a bank FD with a low rate of interest. So my idea is only to highlight this discrepancy in front of them. Rest, the decision is of the person who wants to invest. So the point is only to highlight why we are all, Shikha ji, you would also agree, why we are making a bank FD, why we are depositing our money in some bank investment, because we want to grow money. Now, the idea is because we are not correlating it with inflation, actually my money is not growing. It is giving me a negative return. So the point is to highlight this. So inflation and its impact, I agree, Shikha, I agree. Now you are with me. Do you agree what the point I'm wanting to convey? That even if you are investing in a bank investment, in a bank FD, one must understand what my eventual interest rate that I would be getting in my hand. So today's rate of would anyone tell me what is the present 1 year FD rate that a bank is offering me? Anyone would tell me?
I'm around 5%, 4.9 or 5%.
Correct. So 5%. And what is the present inflation rate? What is the present inflation rate? It's around, if I say around 6.5%. So on the, to make calculations easy, let me take it as 6%. So if you deposit your money today in a bank, 100 rupees you deposit in your 1 year FD for a bank, in a bank FD, after 1 year, it will be worth 105 rupees. But because the inflation is 6%, today something which is available to you at 100 rupees, after 1 year, it will be available to you at 106 rupees. But your money has only grown to 105 rupees. So was this investment an intelligent decision to take? Shikha, I asked you, probably it was you who unmuted, I think. So was this an intelligent decision to be taken?
Ma'am, no, it's not an intelligent decision, but usually the general public, they do not have knowledge about this accounting concept. So they usually go with banks.
This is why this is why I am here today. This is what my job is, to highlight this discrepancy in front of you. That see, this is there and now you decide accordingly. This is what the point is, right? So inflation and its impact on the money you can see here, it's there in a graphical way. I've tried to put it in front of you, that suppose today we take it on the left side, the cost of monthly living expenses. If you can see, base year we take as today, and 50,000 is my monthly living expenses of my family. This is a just a small example. I'm trying to explain it to you. And if we feel that inflation is at 6%, which is at present, aaj ki date mein inflation is at 6%, so 50,000 of my expenses today, and to maintain the same lifestyle, after 5 years I will be spending 66,911. After another 5 years, I'll be spending on the same lifestyle 89,542, and so forth. So after 20 years, I would be spending 1,60,357 rupees every month on the same lifestyle if I continue. Whereas because of this inflation, if I have 1 lakh rupee in my hand today, the money value, right hand side graph you have to see, 1 lakh rupee if in my hand is there today, and this inflation erodes my savings that I have in my hand today. So the value of 1 lakh rupee will be equivalent to 74,725 after 5 years. Another 5 years it goes down to 55,000 something, and another 5 years it goes down to 41,000 something. So this is how the expenses will increase and the money value will go down, and this is how the inflation, the secret enemy, it erodes my corpus. So how to handle this? We have to handle this by investing our money in certain asset classes which give me the treatment of power of compounding. And that is why I have written here, the hero to help me come out of this trap is power of compounding. And how will this power of compounding work? The power of compounding, I've shown you a comparative figure over here. We've taken this small example where a principal amount of rupees 1 lakh is getting invested. So the orange boxes there the interest is getting, it's a simple return, simple interest we've calculated, and the yellow boxes are showing me the compounding effect. The compounded rate of interest formula is being used there. So as you see, we are moving from first year to fifth year to 10th year, 20th year, and 30th year. The gap keeps on increasing. My principal amount is same. My principal amount was 1 lakh rupee only at the beginning of the base year. But when it was invested in something which is giving me a smaller return, a simple rate of interest, it is giving me on those products. So after 30 years, I'm standing on 4 lakh rupees only. Whereas with the same starting amount, if I invested in some investment asset classes which were beating inflation and at least giving me a return percentage more than what inflation was eroding, after 30 years, I was standing on a corpus of 17 lakh and 44,000. So no comparison between 4 lakh and 17 lakh. Now this depends upon what kind of investor sentiment I carry. If I am an aggressive investor, I like exploring products. I like investing my money in such products which have some iota of risk, but they give you a return which is much higher than what the safer avenues give to everyone. I will be investing in something which goes in this yellow box. Whereas if I am a passive investor, I am a risk averse investor, I would be going ahead with safer options, and then I'll have to be contented with this 4 lakh rupees. So the choice is mine. Depends on what kind of investor I carry. So price of procrastination means delaying your decisions. When we generally say that, okay, let's, we are very motivated today. Today we've, heard that, yes, we should be investing. And I go back and I start thinking over it. Okay, let me do it. Okay, forget it. Let me not do it today. When I sit after 10 days, when I'll have some leisure time in my hand, then I will think about it and then I will start my investment. So I pushed my investment decision by another 10 years, another 10 days. Now, after 10 days, I have something else on my plate. Something else caught up my attention, and I feel, okay, March is coming to an end, by this financial year ending. Let me do my financial planning from the starting of next year. So I push my investment decision to March end. And in this way, I keep postponing my decision from one period to another period, and that will, push me to face this price of procrastination. Procrastination means postponing your decisions. So how that affects us? If we do not act from today, how is going to affect me? This calculation I have shown you here. So an example has been taken that if we are investing 5,000 rupees per month, for say 10 years, if we've taken just this example. Now, if I am assuming that it is giving me a 12% annualized return, and that is possible, trust me, friends, that is possible if we are invested in certain products for a longer duration of time, 5 years, 7 years, if we are invested, 12% annualized returns are possible. So what is going to be my corpus after 30 years if I start investing today? 5,000 rupees per month. So that means every year 60,000 I am investing, 60,000 into 30 years. So that gives me around what? 18 lakhs, if I'm right in my calculation. So for 30 years, my basic investment would be 18 lakhs. But with this 12% annualized return, the corpus after 30 years will be 1.77 CR, 1.77 crores. So that's because the power of compounding was working on it. Your principal amount that went into this was only 18 lakhs, but your eventual corpus turned out to be 1.77 crores because you let it grow at a annualized return of 12%. Now, if you postponed your investment decision from today by 3 years, so you said that maybe in next 3 years, my child is going to college and I have this thing to do and that thing to do. So let me start my investment journey after 3 years. So if you push your investment journey after 3 years, so total amount in your hand will be 27 years because this calculation is done for 30 years horizon. So for 27 years, if you keep investing 5,000 rupees every month at the same rate of interest, which is 12% annualized, your corpus would be 1.22 crores. So that is 55 lakhs short. So the price that you paid by postponing your decision by 3 years was 55 lakh rupees. If today you postpone your decision to by 5 years, today we are in 2022. So you say that I'll start investing in 2027. So I push my decision by 5 years. And so that means my investment journey would be only of 25 years. So in 25 years, what I have in my hand will be 95 lakhs. And the price of postponing this decision will be 82 lakhs. So the more I procrastinate, the more I end up losing. So the idea behind giving you these figures is that when you are planning your family's finances, start from today. Don't postpone your decision because every day you delay, the compounding does not get that time period to work, and eventually you have less money in your hands. So please implement your decisions, whatever you decide today. There is this very interesting rule of 72. It was discovered by Albert Einstein that is used in personal financial management circles. Many times, we have this habit of thinking कि अभी इधर पैसा लगाएंगे तो double कितने सालों में होगा. So many people think in this way that if I invest my money here, in how much time will my money get doubled? So this formula helps you calculate that time period. 72 divided by the rate of interest will give you the number of years. So considering, Shikha, my question to you only, if the rate of interest in the FD is say 5%, 6%, जितना 6% है suppose, 6% हमने लिया. So how much time will your 1 lakh rupee take to double? अभी अगर 6% rate है आपकी FD का, so how much time will it take to double? If anyone can tell me, how much time to double that 1 lakh rupee? 1 lakh rupee will become 12
years.
12 years.
Correct. So you know the formula now that you got to know the formula. Whatever is the interest rate, be it an FD, be it mutual funds, be it stocks, be it a bond or a corporate bond, treasury bill, money market instrument, PPF, Sukanya Samriddhi, anything, wherever you have invested your money, if you want to calculate in how much time will this money get doubled, please use this formula. So 72 divided by the rate of interest will give you that number of years. So if 6% is your FD rate, 72 divided by 6 will give you 12. So in 12 years, your money will double. But here, Let me quote you this very interesting statistics. Does anyone follow stock markets, mutual funds? Does anyone follow mutual funds or stocks? Please write me a yes or a no in the chat box, so I would know if people are invested in stocks or mutual funds. Okay, Dr. Nanganathan is saying no. Okay, Dr. Kulbir Singh is saying yes. Great, great. So are we aware about these terms, Nifty and Sensex? Have we heard these terms? Please tell me, do you know these terms, Nifty and Sensex? Yes. So many of you have written yes. So let me tell you, friends, Nifty is the benchmark, stock market index of National Stock Exchange, and Sensex is the benchmark index of Bombay Stock Exchange. So consider, I'm quoting you Nifty figures. Nifty was created in the year 1995. That time the base value was 1000. 1995, the base value of Nifty was 1000. Today the value of Nifty, even after in the last couple of days, markets have been in too much of a turmoil, because of that Russia-Ukraine crisis. Markets have been in turmoil and stock markets have gone down considerably. Still, today the value of Nifty is around 16,500. So 16,500 is the present value of Nifty. 95 it was set up. So how many years till today? It is 27 years that Nifty was set up. Now in 27 years, if you had invested in Nifty, now see, in 27 years, Nifty has grown from 1,000 to 16,500. That means what is the growth? 16.5 times. In 27 years, 16.5 times has been the growth in the value of Nifty. So if you had invested 1 lakh rupee in Nifty stocks in 1995, this means they were worth 16 lakh 50,000 today. Am I correct in giving you these examples? Did you understand this? Total 27 years that Nifty has been set up, 95 till 2022. So 27 years. Base value was 1000 and today the value is 16,500. So the value has grown by how much time? 16.5 times. So if you had, what does that mean? This means that if you had invested 1 lakh rupee in the shares that are there in Nifty or mutual funds in, those have stocks in Nifty, if you had invested 1 lakh rupee 27 years ago, today they were worth 16 lakh 50,000 rupees. So a growth of what percentage? It is a 1,650% growth. So the growth has been tremendous in these 27 years. For those of you who are aware about the markets have gone up and down multiple times, but yet the returns that you get because of compounding effect was such magnanimous. 16.5 times the value grows. So imagine we are just thinking about doubling our money. People have made their money 16 times or 17 times by investing somewhere else. So these figures are just to give you a notice that how people are, working in the markets and how they are taking the benefit out of the market. Just that we need to be little aware about it, and we need to spend some time if we want this kind of return in our portfolios. So the risk diversification, let's understand there is nothing called a risk-free investment. Even your bank FD is not safe. Absolutely. Only to the tune of 1 lakh rupee is your bank FD guaranteed by RBI. If a bank defaults, what RBI guarantees us is only 1 lakh. Even if you have 50 lakh FD in a bank, what the RBI guarantees is only 1 lakh. So even a bank FD is not safe. For passive investors, risk investors, the main concern is safety. So let's assume let's understand there is nothing called a risk-free investment. Some amount of risk is everywhere. Wherever you invest your money, it is a trade-off between risk and reward. Risk and return relationship is called a trade-off. Risk cannot be eliminated completely, but yes, it can be managed. If you can manage it yourself, please do it. If you want somebody's help, you can take the help of registered financial planners or registered investment advisors. There are a lot of registered intermediaries who are there to help you out. So you have to manage your risk through diversification. I don't say that you completely invest your money in stocks, or you completely invest your money in mutual funds, or you completely invest your money in bank deposits. No, you should have a healthy balance. And as it is a saying in English that never put all your eggs in the same basket. So you should not put your money all together in a single place. Just let it be diversified, so that even if one part is not doing good, the others compensate for it. So that's called risk diversification. Now, budgeting is what everybody knows. It's a balance between our income and the expenditures. So everybody does their household budgeting. You know what your income sources are, what is the family's cumulative income, and what are your expenses. So if you do the simple subtraction, income minus expenses, so if it is a positive figure, that means you have a surplus budget. That means you are managing your finances well. So with that extra money you have with you, what you should do, first of all, pay off any debt or loans if you have. Otherwise, you can increase, if you do not have any other loans or debts on your head, you can increase your monthly savings amount. But in case this budgeting figures comes in negative, that is income minus expenses comes in negative, as in you have more expenses than what your source of income are, it is a cause of worry. So you need to either increase your income or reduce your expenses. So in this way, you will fine tune your family's budget. Now, that is one part of it. And secondly, whatever investments you are doing, they should be catering to the smart financial goals. On the right side of my screen, you can see here, you should be having smart financial goals so that you can save for them. And what are smart financial goals? Okay, so let's say when we all started with this discussion, we all agreed that yes, savings is important because we have to save for our retirement, and we have no hona hi chahiye. We all feel that saving is a good habit, but our savings will get a thrust when we attach some goals with them. Now if I just simply tell you to save, that please save money, probably not many of you would get interested in that. But if I say that if you save money, you can send your daughter for a foreign degree, for a foreign qualification, you can send to her, or maybe you can build a nice retirement house for you and your spouse to lead a comfortable, retired life. This probably increases your interest in investments. And why so? Because a goal was attached with the savings of money. When you incentivize something, the interest is always there. Small example, you tell a child that you tell your child that beta, you have to study, you have to study, you have to study. Okay, so the child may be interested or may not be interested. But if you tell your child that beta, if you study and if you get good scores, I will buy you a new phone for your attending your online classes. Now you incentivize, when you incentivize this goal, probably the motivation factor increased for the child to work hard. So that probably is known as smart financial goals. All your goals for which you are saving money should be specific, they should be measurable, they should be attainable, they should be relevant and time-based. These are the attributes which are very, very much required for your goals to be successful. And all your goals can be divided into certain timelines. The goals can be divided into certain timelines, and this will help you plan for your finances in a much better way. So in personal financial management domain, we categorize goals into three terms. One is known as short term, medium term and long term. What do we mean by short term? Anything that we want to achieve within 3 years. Anything that I want to achieve from 3 to 5 years is a medium term goal, and anything which I want to achieve after 5 years is called my long term goals. So short term goals could be, everybody can have different types of goals. Some of them are written over here. Short term goals could be like you want to take some overseas holiday, or you want to buy a car, or you want to get married if you are a youngster. within a period of 3 years. These are your short-term goals, because all of these goals require some handsome amount of money. Now, if you want to have your own house and you want to do the upfront deposit for it, say within 3 to 5 years, that's your medium-term goal. Or maybe you want to start a family, and these days having a child itself is a big financial goal. You want to take a break from work and do something according to your passions. That's your medium-term goal. Long-term goal could be anything which is beyond 5-year time period. So it could be your children's higher education, or maybe owning your own house and then planning for your retirement. So these are the 3 different categories based on which you can categorize your goals. Now, the investments that you do will depend upon the kind of goal you are going to cater. So, because we are doing personal financial management today, let me first explain you what are the different asset classes in which you can put your money, and which asset class will suffice for which goal that you have in your mind. So on the right hand side, we've written savings account, which is your normal bank account. Here you can keep your money for short term duration, because this is one asset class which is giving you the least amount of interest rates. And if you cut taxes from it, hardly anything remains in your hand. So yes, returns are low, safety is higher, volatility is low. So for something as long as a retirement planning, you cannot possibly achieve that by keeping your money in savings account. Savings account is only for a short-term horizon. Similarly, bank FD, guys, you'll have to give me some time. Let me plug my charger. Yes. So bank FD, company FD, post office savings. Now, bank FD and company FD are for medium term time horizon, wherein the returns are low to moderate and the safety is from the higher to moderate size. Then for long term goals, you could have post office savings, PPF, NSC, which is National Savings Certificates, stocks. You could invest in stocks, real estate, or gold. All these are for long term. So now with the time horizon, can you tally your goals there, which are there in on the left side? I ask anyone, suppose you want to own your house, say 6 years down the line, which one of these asset classes will suit you the most, where you can put your money? Will anyone reply to me in the chat box? I want to own my house after 6 years. I want to build a new house after 6 years. And now, which of these instruments will suit me the most? First of all, my goal is to build a house. What is the timeline associated with that goal? 6 years. 6 years falls in which terminology? Is it a short term, medium term, or a long term? Please tell me. Please write in the chat box. Is 6 years short term, medium term, or long term? Yes, it is long term goal. So for long term goals, on the right side, which time horizon suits me? Which asset class suits me? Can you tell me from this blue table, which is there on the right side of the screen? Yes, long term is right. Long term is great. So what are the long term assets you are seeing on the chart? This blue chart on the right side, it is either a post office savings or a PPF or a NSC or stocks or real estate or gold. So in this way, the time horizon will help you align your goals with the asset class in which the money should be invested. Now, the asset classes, they are basically of 2 types: growth assets and income assets, depending upon what kind of returns you get from them. So on the growth assets side, you see it's written real estate, gold, commodities, or stocks. Now, these are those asset classes in which you invest your money. They will give you a good growth in terms of capital appreciation in the long duration. So that is why we are calling them growth assets, because your capital will appreciate to a higher extent. That's why it's a growth asset. Income assets are those assets which are low on returns, but they are high on safety. So FDs, bonds, KVP, EPF, PPF, VPF, they are all income generating assets. They are low on interest part, but they are high on the safety quotient. Whereas the growth assets, they are high on the return part, but they are low on safety side. So one has to understand a fair balance between them. If I am an aggressive investor, I can take risk in the market and I am willing to earn more returns, I will choose the growth assets. I am a risk averse investor. I am a passive investor. I do not like taking much risk. I prefer safety in my investment avenues. I will select the income assets. Similarly, this is choosing the investment asset class according to my risk perception. But if I'm talking about goals, for long term goals, for long and medium term goals, I will choose growth assets. For short duration goals, something that I have to achieve within 3 years, I will be choosing income assets. Is it clear to everyone? In what way am I going to decide where I have to invest my money? Is it clear to everyone? Please write me a yes or a no in the chat box. The two ways of selecting your investment asset class that I told right now, is it clear to everyone? Please write me a yes or a no. If I am a risk taker, I want higher returns, I will choose growth assets. If I am a passive investor, I do not want to take risk, I will choose income assets. If my goals are very far, they are long-term goals, I will choose growth assets. If my goals are very near, I have to achieve them within 3 to 4 years, I will choose income assets. In this way, you will choose what kind of investment asset class where you will put your money. Okay, so there are 4 pillars of our economy, friends, in which our discussion could be further guided. Banking, securities market, insurance, and pension. Okay, Kaushalendra Kumar ji is asking me, PPF is good or mutual fund for long term? Kaushalendra ji, depends on your goal and your risk perception. As I said, every individual is different. So if I talk about myself, I am a risk taker. I'm willing to, put my money in investment avenue wherein ups and downs are there, but eventually it gives me a good return. So if I am a risk taker and I have to invest for long term, I will choose mutual fund. Depending, if suppose there is another person who also wants to invest for long term, but that person gets a heart attack every time the market goes down. So he is a very risk averse person. So for him, for long term, PPF will be good. So depending upon an investor's risk appetite, investment is chosen. Kaushalendra ji, is it good? Is it good? Aapko samajh mein aa gaya? Did you get?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so the 4 pillars of economy on which the entire financial concepts work, they are banking, securities market, insurance, and pension. Let me give you a brief of all of them. I'm already exhausting my time. It's already 3:30. I didn't realize. Okay, so banking, yes. We all know that banks' main work is deposits, loans, and digital payments. So banking, the first major important role of bank is to accept deposits, and this could be in any form: current account, savings account, fixed deposits, recurring deposits, and PPF account. So in these different ways, people put their money in the banks. You deposit your money in the banks in these 5 different ways, and on each of the ways you get a different percentage return from the bank. Now these are the ways in which we can borrow money from banks. It could be for loans, it could be through credit cards, it could be through overdrafts or through cash credits. So those 2 major functions of the bank: accepting deposits and lending. Now the digital payments have really taken us by storm since last 2 years. So these are the the current prevalent digital payment mechanisms. I hope this is clear to everyone. If you want me to explain any one of these, please tell me, or else I'll skip it and I'll come to securities market, which is more pertinent. So do you want me to explain any one of these? Debit card or credit card, NEFT, RTGS, IMPS, e-wallets, UPI, BHIM, AEPS, and USSD. Are all these clear? Okay, Shikha has written to me AEPS. AEPS is Shikha, Aadhaar enabled payment system, wherein we can withdraw our money from the Bank Mitra office, which is known as banking correspondents. So through banking correspondents, you would have seen, these days in markets, a lot of small banking correspondents have opened their outlets. So we can go there, we can operate our bank account by using only our biometric, that is Aadhaar enabled payment system. So if we give our fingerprints over there, we can withdraw money, we can do small transactions from our account through these bank Mitra. So Shikha, is it clear to you? Aadhaar enabled payment system, operating my bank account with my fingerprints with the Aadhaar enabled payment system. Okay, so USSD also somebody is asking me. USSD is unstructured supplementary service data, and this is basically providing financial services on mobile phones, especially those feature phones, which are GSM phones, the non-smartphones. So using USSD, we can access banking through those small feature phones, that is known as USSD. So it's mainly for people who are using smaller versions, who are not smartphone friendly, who do not know technology much. So on a small feature phone, if I have to access my bank account, I will use the USSD facility, which is unstructured supplementary service data. Is Anandji, is it clear to you? I hope, okay. So these are the grievance redressal mechanism. If you have any problem pertaining to your bank account, any problem pertaining to banking services, if you are facing, where can you get your grievance redressed? This is, I thought that this is a very important piece of information that we all should know. So we can approach our bank for any kind of banking problem that you are facing. We have to contact the branch manager, and the bank has to reply to us in writing. If I have given a reply and if I've given a query in writing, I have to get a response also from the bank in writing within 1 month. If I do not get this response from the bank within 1 month, we have all the authority to approach the banking ombudsman, which is the topmost banking grievance redressal authority. And there, this application can be filed online also, and we can send our physical letter also there. So the banking ombudsman will not charge us any fee for getting my problem resolved with the bank. Where is the banking ombudsman located? It's in RBI head office in Mumbai. But for all of us, a banking ombudsman also sits in the Reserve Bank of India of our respective states. So suppose you are in Chandigarh, Chandigarh has an RBI, and in RBI there is a banking ombudsman. So if your bank is not listening to your complaint, you can file it to the ombudsman office in RBI Chandigarh. You can also do it online. Just type on Google banking ombudsman office nearest to me. So you will get all kind of details, and there you can file the complaint if you have anything pertaining to banking mechanism which your bank has not resolved within 1 month of filing your complaint. The second pillar of economy and the most important is investments in securities market. So securities market, as you know, it's popularly also known as stock markets or share bazaar, and which is one of the most very popular investment avenues these days. So you can invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, etc. Through the securities market. Securities market in India is very old, 150 years old. BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange of India, it was set up in the year 1875, 150 years old exchange. And National Stock Exchange, it was set up 30 years ago in 1994 almost in Mumbai. So in both these exchanges, you can have your accounts there, especially in last 2 years of this pandemic when people were constrained in their own houses. 4 crore new investors have opened their demat and trading accounts for investing in the securities market. So this is one of the biggest investment asset classes which is there in front of you. where the four quadrants of investment, safety, liquidity, return or rate of interest, and tax efficiency is taken into consideration, and there is a juggling between these two. So bonds, what is bond? Let me tell you. Okay, bonds, what first of all we'll discuss about bonds, and then we'll talk about stocks. So bonds are a fixed income instrument. It's kind of a debt wherein if we are buying a bond from a government institute or from a private corporate authority, we are kind of loaning them our money, and after a fixed period of time our money will be returned to us with a fixed rate of interest, or the coupon rate, which is called as. So here everything is fixed, as in you are already knowing what kind of return you will get once the bond period matures. So that's bonds. Whereas in stocks, it's little different. Let me give you other fixed income instruments also and their comparisons also, because we were talking about that the passive investors are more comfortable investing in FDs. So here a comparison of different fixed income instruments, including bonds and post office products, has been given to you. So you can see the comparison between the rates. 1 year or a 2 year, maximum 5-year deposit is giving you 7.7%. Post office monthly scheme gives you 7.6%. Senior savings citizen schemes is 8.6%. PPF 7.9%. Sukanya Samriddhi account 8.4%. These are the various percentages, and the comparison of with the bank interest rates has been given there. So we can decide where we want to invest, for what duration we want to invest. That's the screen that is there in front of you. A comparative chart, I have tried to put it here in front of you because we are comfortable with this way of investment. So post office monthly income scheme, let me tell you, it's right now we are talking about all the fixed income instruments. So MIS is for a duration of 5 years, where 6.6% is the rate that you get. So if I deduct 6% inflation rate from here, hardly 6% is what, 0.6% is what will be there in my hand. Anyway, the minimum investment here is 1,500 rupees every year, and maximum is 4,50,000. And liquidity is possible, but with penalty. That is, I can prematurely withdraw my amount from there. NSC, KVP, all the percentages are there in front of you, and the liquidity part is there. So I would request all of you to just go through the liquidity part of all the these fixed income instruments. NSC, it says that withdrawal in exceptional situations like death, but with penalty. In KVP, the withdrawal is upon death only, and that too with court orders. Then for PPF, it is 15 years duration, and partially withdrawal is possible after 5 years. Loan from third financial year onwards is possible. Similarly, post office term deposits of 1, 2, 3, or 5 years, whichever is your comfortable duration. 5.5% is what you get from here. And here in post office deposits and in senior citizen savings schemes and in PPF, you get section 80C benefit. Also, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is a good one. It's for girl child. If you want to say for girl child who's less than 10 years of age, so you can open their accounts, and it's for a duration of 50 years, which gives you a rate of interest of 7.6%. And the liquidity is there for higher education, marriage, and above, when the child is above 18 years. So RBI floating rate bonds are there for a 7 years duration. 7.15% is the rate of interest currently applicable on them. And only senior citizens are allowed a premature withdrawal before 7 years, which is after 4, 5, or 6 years they can withdraw. So these are the debt products which are there, which are high on safety, but they are less on the return part. Now let me tell you about the second part of investing in securities market, which is through stocks. Now, before this mutual funds, I want to talk to you about stocks. So what do we mean by buying and selling stocks? It means that I open a trading account in the stock exchange through any stockbroker. NSE or BSE, two big stock exchanges in India who work pan India across India. They have their offices. So they have their registered stockbrokers who are registered by SEBI. SEBI is the regulator of the stock markets. So SEBI registers the stock exchanges and the stock brokers. So I can open my account on any stockbrokers platform. Many of us would be knowing, different brokers. Like very popular one these days are Zerodha or Upstocks, maybe Edelweiss or India Infoline or Motilal Oswal, Fire. So many of them. There are around 500 to 600 stockbrokers who are working on these stock exchanges. I can open my account with them, and I can, start investing my money by buying shares of good companies. What do we mean by shares of companies? Companies which are working in different areas of manufacturing, IT, banking, cement, pharma. There are 22 different kind of sectors in which different companies are working. Altogether on NSE, around 2,000 such companies are listed for getting their shares traded. So when I open my account with a stockbroker, I am now eligible to buy or sell stocks of these 2,000 companies which are listed on NSE. So I as a probably a retail investor, I am not capable of buying stocks of all these 2,000 companies. So I can do my research, I can select good stocks, and I can invest. I can invest my money for longer duration. Trust me, friends, in securities market, if you are investing your money, you get the returns only in the long duration. I just now gave you an example of Nifty, that in 27 years, Nifty has grown from 1,000 to 16,500, which is 16.5 times the value has grown. So if this kind of return is what we desire, what we aspire, we should keep our money invested in the stocks of good companies for a longer duration. Now, the selection is very important. Which company should I go and invest? So the best answer to this is Nifty comprises of the 50 best companies which work in the National Stock Exchange. So you can choose to invest in any of those 50 companies. You do not need to do any analysis. Nifty 50, those 50 companies are good enough. Choose the company according to your desire amongst these 50 companies, and you can invest your money. But trust me, it will grow only if it give you that, if you give your time also to it. If you give time, then only power of compounding will work. So one way of investing in stock markets is but directly buying stocks of good companies. The other way is through mutual funds. If I'm not comfortable directly investing my money in the stock markets, if I feel I'm not capable enough to select the right stock, or I do not have the time, I'm busy throughout the day in my profession, I do not have the time to sit in the stock market and buy and sell shares, then the best way is to go through an assisted route of investing in securities market, and that is through a mutual fund. Now, what is a mutual fund? In mutual fund, a group of investors will pool their money. We will give it to a mutual fund company, which is also known as AMC, Asset Management Company. So we pool our money, we give it to the asset management company. Asset management company has an officer named fund manager who will be investing our money in the stock market on our behalf. Because I cannot do it myself directly because of the lack of time or knowledge, I give this responsibility to the fund manager. Fund manager will invest my money in the stock market. Whenever I want to take this money out, whenever I want to book my profits, I will give instructions to the fund manager. He will sell the units on my behalf. I will get the returns that my money has generated by being invested in the stocks through the mutual fund route. In return, I will have to give the fund manager his fees, which is known as expenses. So indirectly, your money is getting invested in the stock markets through mutual funds. So mutual funds is an assisted way of entering the securities market. If I cannot do it directly myself, I ask somebody else to help me out. So is this structure clear to everyone? How is mutual fund correlated or connected with securities market, and how is it different? Is it clear to everyone? I request please write me a yes or a no in the chat box if you are clear with the concept of mutual fund. Please write me a yes or a no. Okay. Thank you, Shikha, for replying. Thank you so much. Okay. So the mutual funds benefit over direct stock market investing is, first of all, it gives me a professional management of my money. Probably if I cannot do it myself, I will ask some other professional who has the requisite knowledge and experience to do it on my behalf. So the professional management of my money is what I get. It is very convenient. At a click of a button, my money gets invested. At the click of a button, I can ask my money to come back to me if I want to book my profits. It is very economical. I have to pay the fund manager a very minute part of the investments as their fund management fee. It works in a very transparent way. The diversification benefit you get through mutual funds, because here the small amount of money gets invested in many companies. Whereas if you were doing it personally yourself, if you had invested a small amount of money, then you would have been able to buy only one share or two share or three stocks. But if you are going it through mutual funds route, even a small investment gets diversified in multiple companies. So you get the best of all worlds over here. They help you to manage the inflation. The example that I was giving you, that what is the benefit of investing in an asset class which is not beating inflation and which is beating inflation. So mutual funds is one such asset class which in long duration as in 6, 7, 8 years, it has given us an annualized return of 12%, which is sufficiently enough beating the inflation rate of 6%. So it helps me to manage inflation, and definitely higher returns I'm getting here. 12%, if I'm earning 6% is the cost, is the inflation, the depletion because of the inflation, then also I'm left with 6%. Whereas FD, which is giving me a 6% and the inflation is also 6%, eventually I do not get anything in my hand. So yes, high returns is also what I get from there. Okay, so this is the structure of mutual funds. We can avoid it. Yes. Now the different types of mutual funds that are there in which you can put your money. Now, according to the various characteristics that are there are around 35 to 40 different type of mutual funds which are available in the market. So which mutual fund will you choose? So this depends upon your requirement. So some basis on which mutual funds are classified are there in front of you. According to the structure, the mutual funds could be open-ended funds, closed-ended funds, or interval funds. As in any mutual fund which you want to buy and sell. There are mutual funds that the units for which you can buy or sell very frequently. Today you want to buy, tomorrow you want to sell, day after again you want to buy, and 2 days later you want to sell. You can do it very frequently. Continuously buying, selling is allowed. This is known as open-ended funds. Closed-ended funds are those funds in which you can buy only during a specific time and then sell when the transaction period is open. So those are known as closed-ended funds. Open-ended funds give you a little lesser return because they give you more convenience, whereas closed-ended funds, they give you a higher return, but they give you a little lesser convenience. And a combination of both open and closed-ended funds is known as interval funds. These are those funds who are available for trading at one time and then they become closed at another time. So these are the three different types of mutual funds according to structure. Then management. Now a fund in which the fund manager is actually taking active interest, and according to market movement, he is changing the components of the mutual fund so that he can give you the better return, best return in comparison to the benchmark Nifty, that is known as an active fund. Whereas a passive fund is one in which you are just trying to, the fund manager is just trying to follow the return that the benchmark, that is Nifty, is giving you. So active funds, definitely they give you more returns, but then here the fund management fee is also a little higher. Whereas passive funds, the returns are low, in fact, because here the involvement of fund manager is very less, and that is why the fees is very less. According to objective, the mutual funds could be growth funds, income funds, and hybrid funds. What are growth funds? I had already told you when I was talking about growth assets. Growth funds are those, here your money gets deployed in such companies where the growth potential is high. So they would be little risky companies, but you get more higher growth, you get higher return. Whereas income funds will be investing in such instruments which give you lesser return, but they give you more safety. So income funds. And hybrid funds would be a combination of both. According to portfolio, equity funds are those funds in which your money is getting invested in only equity shares of different companies. Whereas in debt funds, your money gets invested only in debt funds. So equity funds are high on return, but less on high on risk also. Whereas debt funds, they are low on risk, but they give you low return. And hybrid funds are combination of both these funds. And then there are other different types of mutual funds also called ETFs, which is exchange traded funds. They are the most sought after by the passive investors. ETFs is something that you must look forward to. Here also you get best returns. ELSS is equity linked saving schemes, wherein you save taxes if you invest in ELSS funds. Then there are pension schemes, overseas funds, and funds of funds. So these are different kind of mutual funds that are available. Now you need to spend little time, exploring your own interest and risk appetite. As I was telling one of the participants just now, that the suitability of a product differs from investor to investor. If a person is more aggressive, if a person wants more return and he is willing to take some risk for that, he can opt for equity funds, or he can opt for growth funds, he can opt for ETF. But if a person is a passive investor, they will want passive funds or hybrid funds or liquid funds. Similarly, on the terminology of your goals, if you are having a goal which is long term duration, you will look forward to equity funds or growth funds. But if your goal is very near, say another 3 years you want to achieve that goal, then hybrid funds or passive funds or liquid funds is what you will be looking forward to. So I want to know how many of us are investing in mutual funds? Is anyone investing in mutual funds? And did you consider these parameters before selecting your mutual funds? Will anyone want to reply to me? Anyone would want to unmute and give this answer? Anyone? Will anyone want to share their experience with us? Are we investing in mutual funds? Please tell me. Kindly share. Are we investing in mutual funds? Somebody had replied yes earlier. Okay, Shika says no, but what about others? We are around 80 people in this meeting right now. Will anyone want to share? Okay, Kulveer Singh ji, Ashish ji was saying yes. Okay, so will anyone want to unmute and we'll have a discussion that, so for what goal are you investing? Will you share with me? Or if you are comfortable writing in the chat box, Dr. Kulveer Singh Rana and Ashish ji. Okay, Kulveer Singh ji, if you have a mic issue, no problem. So sir, did this, okay, you are saying you are investing in Mirai Asset. Mirai Asset is the asset management company, the mutual fund company. So all in all, in India, there are 40 mutual fund companies. So you are investing through Mirai and Franklin. These are the mutual fund companies. Now you would have taken their product. You would have taken some mutual fund of Mirai Asset and Franklin. So will you tell me, did you consider these parameters before selecting your Mirai Asset or Franklin fund? Did you consider these? I mean, was it clear what I explained just now? The process, the purpose for which we invest in mutual funds? You are saying yes. See, sir, because two of you have replied that you are investing in mutual funds. So I will suggest, sir, first of all, select your mutual fund scheme according to your goal and risk appetite. Just do not go by what anybody else is suggesting you. See, today, if I say that, sir, invest in Mirai Asset equity funds, suppose if I suggest you this, that, sir, please invest in Mirai Asset equity funds. I do not know what kind of investor you are, whether you are an aggressive investor or a passive investor. I don't know what is your goal, whether you want the money, say, after 1 year, or you want the money after 7 years. So without knowing all these details, if I am suggesting a mutual fund to you, that's not the right thing to do. So please understand, if your mutual fund distributor is suggesting you something, listen to him or her, but then analyze that, is this mutual fund aligned with your goal? Only if the mutual fund is aligned with your goal, then only select that mutual fund. You can also do your analysis by visiting various websites like moneycontrol.com or valueresearchonline.com. I hope you all are aware about these websites. These are two websites on which you can do your research about mutual funds or stocks: moneycontrol.com or valueresearchonline.com, or you can also see morningstar.com. These are different websites on which you can see the history, the past performance, the results that these mutual funds have given. And before investing your money in any stock or mutual fund, do your analysis, do your understanding. Yes, Ashish ji, you're saying ET money. Yes. In fact, in the Economic Times newspaper, every Monday there is a booklet called ET Wealth. So you can also go through that. It also gives you a good understanding of mutual funds and investment domain. Okay. So, so briefly talking about all kind of equity schemes, what is their purview and where they invest their money. All the equity schemes are investing in equity or equity related instruments of companies. They are for long-term growth, but they are volatile in the short term, and investors with higher risk appetite and with longer investment horizon should buy the equity schemes. Ashish ji and Dr. Kulveer Singh ji, I hope you understand all these things. Debt schemes, mutual fund debt schemes, here the investment by the fund manager is being done in different types of fixed income securities, and the aim is to earn interest, income, and capital appreciation. And it is suitable for investors who are seeking income at moderate risk. They do not want to take much risk, and their goal is also not very far. It is somewhere in the medium term or the low term duration, short term duration. Hybrid schemes will be a mix of equities and hybrids. So it is giving you best of both the worlds. Here you gain from a healthy dose of equities, but the debt portion gives you a balancing act towards the risk component. It is ideal for investors who are looking for a mixture of safety, income, and modest capital appreciation. And as I suggested, please go through all these resources that I told you just now, and through them you will be able to analyze and select the right scheme for yourself. ELSS is something which is caught up with all of us very much these days. Here we invest in mutual funds and we also get tax benefits under Section 80C whenever we have to do tax planning. So in ELSS, whatever money we are putting, 65% of that is invested in equities and equity related products. Maximum rupees 1.5 lakh tax saving under Section 80C is possible by investing in ELSS. So it also, it's a good investment avenue for wealth creation. Here the growth as well as dividend options are available to you. Minimum investment in this type of mutual fund is 500 rupees, and you have to remain invested in the ELSS for a minimum period of 3 years, which is also known as lock-in period. So a lock-in period of 3 years is applicable here. So a very popular investment product these days, besides the debt products that I told you, PPF, Sukanya Samriddhi, Senior Citizen Savings Account, or your PPF, EPF, or besides them, you can have ELSS also as your tax planning instrument. Now in mutual funds, we can do investments by different ways. One is lump sum investment. In case I have money in chunk with me, I can do one-time investment. I can also plan my investments in a very disciplined way by selecting the SIP mode. SIP is very popular word these days. SIP means systematic investment plan, wherein we will invest every month some amount in mutual funds. So this gives me a kind of discipline in my investments. So what I can do, suppose the examples that I taken, suppose I decide I want to buy mutual funds worth rupees 5,000 every month. So I give a standing instruction to my bank: every month the date that I have specified, on that day, suppose 5,000 rupees will be debited and the unit of mutual fund schemes will be bought that I have selected. So SIP will give me a regularity in investments. Okay, great, Dr. Kulveer Singh, you're telling me that you have done it through SIPs only. That's a very good decision that you have taken, sir. Systematic transfer plan means I invest in one scheme and then I transfer it every month to another scheme. So people, what they do, if I suppose get one lump sum amount as bonus in my organization. So what I do is lump sum 1 lakh rupee I have got, I will buy liquid funds of 1 lakh rupee and then I will put a SWP or which is known as a systematic withdrawal plan or a STP plan, systematic transfer plan. Every month 5,000 rupees will be deducted from my lump sum investment that I've done in liquid funds, and an equity fund will be bought every month for 5,000 rupees. So this kind gives me a benefit of averaging the cost of my investments. So these are the most modes of investments in which you can do your investment in mutual funds. So this is the growth chart I have shown you, and this is a real time data, friends. This is no assumption, no fiction. This calculation has been done that if we are doing 5,000 rupees monthly SIP, if I have done for a long duration of time, assuming today I am 30 years of age and I want to do a 30-year SIP, it is till the time that I'm retiring at 60 years. So total 30 years, I will be investing 5,000 rupees every month in that mutual fund. The total amount invested by me would be 18 lakh. Whereas because of this 10% compounded rate that is working on it, it will come, the retirement corpus would come out to be 1.13 lakhs. So you see the tremendous growth that I got. I only invested 18 lakhs, but I ended up with 1.13 crores. Whereas if I start at the age of 40 and if I have only 20 years, see, the aim is that I will withdraw money at the age of 60 years. I want to see my calculation till the age of 60 years. So if I start at 40 years at the rate of 5,000 monthly, I'll be accumulating 12 lakh of rupees, and with this 10% return, I'll be getting 37.97 lakhs at the end. All these calculations are very easily available over Google, internet. You can find out SIP calculators, the return calculators, everything is available on the over internet these days. Okay, Shikha, you are saying, ma'am, please elaborate on systematic transfer plan. Shikha, systematic transfer plan, as I said, once say I have got a lump sum amount in my hand. Suppose one of my FDs got matured, or I got a bonus from my office and I have 1 lakh rupee in my hand. Now today the market is on say a very high side. So what happens is, if I go to buy, I will be buying things at a higher price because today the market is on the upward side, higher side. It's just an assumption. It could be lower side also. So assuming that today the market is on a higher side. So if I go to buy shares or mutual funds with this 1 lakh rupee, I will get lesser units because the market is on a higher side. So what I do, instead of buying everything at a higher cost, what I do is I put this 1 lakh rupee in a liquid fund. Liquid fund is where your money gets invested in money market instruments. So here you park your money. It's called temporary parking of your money here, because here the rate of returns are fixed and they are known to you well in advance. So you put 1 lakh rupee in the liquid fund. Now you give an instruction to your bank that every month 5,000 rupees should be withdrawn from this liquid fund, and 5,000 rupees worth units of equity mutual fund should be bought for me. So effectively your money is getting transferred from liquid fund to equity mutual fund. Now, because this market works in a wavy pattern, sometimes the market is up, sometimes the market is down. So this month the market was high, you could get lesser units. Next month the market is on the lower side, you will get more units. So your 1 lakh rupee will get transferred from liquid fund to a equity mutual fund over a span of 20 months. 5,000 every month it is getting debited. So total 1 lakh rupee will get debited in 20 months. In these 20 months, the market would be on a higher side, lower side, higher side, lower side. So what happens? You get an average return, which is lesser than the higher price, but it is more than the lower price. So you get the benefit of averaging. If you do this STP, then the market movement won't hit you. How has this STP helped you? Had you bought the units lump sum of 1 lakh rupees right at the beginning, you would have got lesser units in your hand, because at that time market was on a very high side. But because you chose this STP platform, the price that at which your 1 lakh rupee got invested is the average price. So it is lower than what you would have spent had you done a lump sum investment. So this is known as systematic transfer plan. So Shikha ji, is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So in securities market, whether you are in a direct investor in the securities market, that is you are directly buying shares through your stockbroker, or you are doing it through mutual funds, in case there is any problem, any issue that you are facing, you can online lodge a complaint to the securities market regulator, which is SEBI. Now, SEBI has created this portal called scores.gov.in. On the left side, you can see the link there. So in case you have any problem in the securities market related business, you can online file your complaint here. The toll-free numbers are also given there. So you can also call them and lodge your complaint. So for investor grievance redressal, for all your investments pertaining to securities market, this is the coordinates for you to contact. Now talking about the third pillar of economy, which is insurance. So insurance, friends, has become very important in this pandemic arena. We all know so many people have suffered so many losses to life, losses to health of families. So insurance has gained too much of an importance. Insurance is basically of two types, life and general insurance, and this is an integral part of your money management. See, eventually, if the working person, if the working partner, working members of the family, something happens to them, the entire family's future is jeopardized. So insurance comes to our rescue at that point in time. So insurance, as I said, life insurance and general insurance. And this general insurance is further categorized into health, motor, and your home insurance. So term insurance plan, which is for life insurance, it's very, very important. And I hope all of you have taken term insurances for all the working members of your family. They are the most basic form of life insurance, where the provision for life cover is there with no savings or profits component. And it is the most affordable form of life insurance. So the sum assured is paid if the policy holder expires during the policy term. And if the policy holder survives the policy term, there is no payout. So I want to know how many of us have taken a term life insurance. Please write in the chat box if we have taken term life insurance. Term insurance, please write me a yes or a no. If you have taken a term insurance, please write a yes. If you have not, please write a no. I want you to please share your experience with me. Anyone would want to share if you have taken a life insurance, term insurance? Okay, fair enough. I'm yet to get any answer. Anyway, I would like to suggest over here is that term insurance is one of the most important and one of the most coveted gift that you can give to your families, because God forbid if anything happens to the working member of the family, just imagine how would your family cope up with the scenario later on. So term insurance, a suggestion that everyone should go ahead. What is the ideal amount of term insurance that one should take? It is considered in financial planning, whatever is your annual salary, 10 to 15 times could be the ideal term sum assured for which you should take a term insurance. So suppose you earn 10 lakhs annually, then ideally from 1 crore to 1.5 crore is the term insurance plan that you should take. Depending upon, you should compare different companies' term insurance policies. Wherever you get the best premium amount, premium comparison you should do, and you should take that policy. As I said, unfortunate things don't tell and then they happen. They just happen eventually overnight. So to secure your families from any such God forbid any such thing happens with anyone, this is one thing to be taken into consideration. Besides term insurance, health insurance is also a very important part of personal financial management these days. So you can have individual health insurance in which it is the simplest health policy, which and many of them are available in the market. So you can opt for that. You may also be getting covered through your organizations also for your under employee health insurance scheme. You can opt for your family's health insurance also by taking up a family floater plan. It is a policy that will cover the entire family, and it is cheaper than individual policy. So depending upon the number of family members you have, the age groups and the pre-existing diseases, you can choose for a specific amount of a family floater plan. Then there are also unit linked health plans, whereas it is a similar to ULIP, in which a part of your premium is invested in the securities market, whereas the remaining goes for health cover. But as a suggestion, I personally always prefer to go in for a family floater plan, which will cover all members of your family. In case of any problem related to insurance related issues, any insurance policy that you have taken, if you have any issue, you can, the regulator for insurance is insurance regulator, and IRDAI, it is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. So you can call them on the numbers that are given on the screen. You can also register your complaint online on their portal, which is www.igms.irda.gov.in. So why I am giving you all these coordinates are that in case you are invested but you do not know from where to get your problem resolved, actually at times that becomes a big factor for you to not accessing that domain. So in alongside telling you the benefits of each of the pillars of economy, I'm also telling you where you can get your grievances resolved, so that this becomes a handy piece of information if we are caught up in something unpleasant. And the last is pension related products that are available, which is EPF, PPF, or the new pension scheme, NPS. So pension area is being regulated by PFRDA, Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. So that's a fair amount of comparison that I have tried to give here, that what is the difference between EPF and PPF. I'm sure we all are conversant with these two terms. EPF is the Employee Provident Fund and PPF is Public Provident Fund. So all salaried employees are eligible for EPF, whereas in PPF all Indians except NRIs can open. The interest rates for EPF are 8.5% right now, whereas in Public Provident Fund it is 7.1%. Both of them are giving you benefit under Section 80C. The investment period in EPF is up to retirement or resignation, whereas in PPF it's a voluntary thing, so 15 years, which is extendable to 5 years in 5 years blocks. In EPF, tax is there if it is withdrawn before 5 years, and in PPF it's there's no tax on returns. Both of them are tax free. The minimum investment in EPF, you all know, is 12% of basic plus DA, whereas in PPF it is rupees 500 every year. So these are the figures that are last updated in 2020. NPS is becoming now it's gaining importance these days. NPS, National Pension Scheme, in which all citizens between 18 to 65 can open their accounts, and it is very low cost and easy to operate. We can open our NPS account through POP, which is called as point of presence. So all your banks or post offices are point of presence where you can open your NPS account, National Pension Scheme. It is compulsory for government employees, but for people working in private sector, it is an optional thing. Here also, the funds here, a part of your investment is going into mandatorily taking care of your retirement requirements, and the other part is going into investments, that it is going into securities market. If you open an NPS account, what you are allotted is a 12-digit unique number, which is known as permanent retirement account number, PRAN. Once the PRAN has been taken, then you can start investments in NPS. So under section 80C, again the tax benefits are available till 1.5 lakhs and an additional rupees 50,000 under section 80 CCD, So this gives you an additional tax cushion. Now the withdrawals that are done before 65 years are taxable. Anything that you withdraw before 65 years becomes taxable. But if you withdraw after 65 years, then 40% that amount is tax free. And even the remaining 60% also becomes tax free if we move it to an annuity, which is your regular payments towards your retirement expenses. So NPS is again, the type, there are two types of accounts which open in an NPS. One is called tier 1 account, the other is tier 2 account. In tier 1 account, which is your mainly your retirement corpus creation account, here the minimum investment of rupees 500 per month has to be done, or annually you can pay 6,000 per year. This is the minimum. Whereas in tier 2 account, I mean tier 1 is a compulsory account, tier 2 is an optional account. So in tier 2, initial contribution of rupees 1,000 has to be done, and you can withdraw or deposit anytime through point of presence. The minimum balance at the end of each financial year should not be less than rupees 2,000. So the tier 2 account that you have opened, here the amount is getting invested by the fund managers in different equities, components, corporate bonds or government security. So that's called an active choice. And the fund manager allocates the money that you have invested in tier 2 account based on your age. So if you are higher on age, the fund manager will invest your amount in the investment asset classes which are low on risk, like government securities. Whereas if you are of a younger age, then the fund manager will allocate the fund more towards growth assets, which is equity. So in this way, the fund manager allocates your money. So you get dual benefit. One is your retirement corpus is getting, accumulated, and other you are getting the benefits of investing in the securities market as well. For any pension fund related complaints or frauds, you can approach PFRDA, which is Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, and they are approachable online also. Their numbers are there on the screen also. You can write to them also, send your complaints to them in writing also. They have their office here in New Delhi. So these are the ways where your complaints pertaining to pensions can be redressed. Last but not the least, there are certain things that we have to always keep in mind as we are working, as we are operating in this technology driven scenario where frauds and scams are very easily happening around. So how we should be keeping ourselves alert, what care should we be taking that we do not fall prey to such incidences. So first of all, you should frequently check your financial accounts and credit reports for suspicious activity. If you've lost a card or your credit card is stolen or hacked, so it can go unnoticed. So continuously keep a monitor on all your account statements, credit card balances, credit card statements, all these to be checked on a periodical basis. If you see any suspicious activity, please report it. Be aware of the grievance redressal mechanisms. I already told you for all the 4 pillars of economy, from where can your grievances be redressed. In case of any suspicious activities are found in your account, report it to the concerned authority. Please make sure that all the passwords that you set for different banking and different channels, they are secure. Always look for passwords that are 8 to 10 characters long, and they have a combination of upper and lower case and special characters and all. So make your passwords very secure so that they are not easily hacked by anyone. You have to extremely be cautious when engaging with people online. Online you are doing any transactions, any payments you are doing, or any where you are putting in your CVV numbers or OTPs. Once you have to be very, very confident about the websites or the people with whom you are interacting. Even when you are sure enough, then only please share these confidential information, else do not do it. Do not do your online researches. You have to see that type a company's name. If you are investing in a company, or you are making payments online to some third party, just type that third party's name in your Google search engine, and against that also write complaints, scam review. If there have been earlier incidences where people have reported that such a party is a scamster, or they have given a negative reviews, they will come up on your search screens. So do all this review before making online payments or making any kind of online transaction. You have to protect yourself from scams. You have to stay calm. Scammers like to prey people on their emotions, so they typically try to scare you. If you get a call, they will try to scare you that अगर आपने अभी पासवर्ड नहीं दिया, अगर आपने अभी ऐसा नहीं बताया तो आपके अकाउंट से इतना पैसा डेबिट हो जाएगा, या हम आपका अकाउंट ब्लॉक कर देंगे, या इतना निकल आएगा. So you have to be alert. Don't be very impatient. Just calmly listen to that person and do your own homework first before reacting to what that other person is saying. All the unsolicited emails or calls or texts or letters that you get, consider all of them to be scam. Banks will not be asking for your passwords or the personal information. Don't click on links or open attachments in unsolicited emails that you do not understand, that you do not recognize. Please consider all of them as scams. Avoid sharing personal information with any person or business that you don't trust. And this includes your credit card information, your date of birth, your Aadhaar card, PAN number, password, mother's maiden name, all these things not to be shared online with unknown persons. Make sure your online transactions are legitimate and secure. And how will you do that? Once you are making a payment, on the browser window, always see that HTTPS is mentioned in the URL and a small icon of a lock is there. This is an indication that this is a genuine website. And if you are finding it difficult to handle things on your own, please seek independent professional advice if necessary. Before you provide personal information, send money or make an investment, talk to a financial advisor, accountant, any person that you trust, or maybe the bank manager of your local banks. All these persons are equipped to handle all your queries. With this, I would want to come at the end of this session on personal financial management, money management. In this small period of 2 hours, I tried to share the maximum I could, and I tried to cover all the 4 parts of the economy. So now I'm open to questions, and in case you want to ask me anything.
Yes, any questions from the side of participants? Any question? Ma'am, actually you explained in very simple manner. I think that nobody is having any doubt.
So that's so nice of you, ma'am, to say that. And I'm very happy that if I could have, I could be of any use to all the participants over here. And if I was, clear enough, and I tried to use least of the jargons so that you understand the language in which we speak in day-to-day languages. Anyway, I'm accessible on the email ID that I've mentioned here. So in case anybody wants to be in touch, you have any query, you can post me on this email ID. I'm available on this ID. Thank you so much, ma'am. Shikha, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Very useful and very informative session. And I hope everybody will feel more comfortable in choosing their investment portfolio after your lecture. I'm a passive investor, and I used to save in this PPF and all these things in bank FD and all. But definitely I will try to shift my portfolio to mutual funds and stocks.
That's great, ma'am. That's great. I always encourage my participants to take baby steps. Don't do it once all together. Start taking baby steps once you feel confident, and then you gradually shift your portfolios. But yes, do not stop yourself from experimenting. Till the time you do not do it yourself, you will never be able to learn. So I'm very happy to know that, ma'am, you are encouraged to take these small baby steps henceforth.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your precious time. Thank you.
So with this, we come to the end of day 4. I like to thank all the participants and request them to join tomorrow 9:30 for the next session. Thank you, everyone.